Welcome to A Band Apart with Ekko and Sidetrack.
We just want to say thank you very much for your listenership. We've transferred over to video recently, and it means a lot if you can like, subscribe, share.
Yeah, tell your friends. If you enjoy watching the podcast, watch it, comment, interact, anything that helps us out and helps you out.
Yeah, it would be really great, and it means a lot to us, and it means that we'll be able to share it with even more people. So thank you. We love you.
Thanks for the support, guys.
Hey, I'm Jeff, and I make music with my brother.
Hi, I'm Jonathan, and I also make music with my brother.
Together, we are Ekko and Sidetrack, and we make music that sounds like this.
And this.
And even this. This podcast is about music, creativity, and everything in between.
Welcome to A Band Apart with Ekko and Sidetrack. As always, A Band Apart with Ekko and Sidetrack is brought to you by Short Order Burger.
It's one of the best burgers you can get. We've talked about their merch. We've talked about their delicious meals. We haven't talked about their breakfast, and that's something they're going to be offering for a short time. It's going to be every Sunday at the Fremantle store.
Ooh.
I went there the other day. I got little muffin.
Like a sausage and egg McMuffin thing?
Yeah, it was so good. And he's got two different kinds of hash browns. They got a hot cake offering that's just a beautiful hot cake.
Oh, God, I'm getting hot cake thinking about it.
It's amazing. And highly worth checking out on Sunday mornings from 11.
So they got hot cakes, sausage and egg McMuffins, hash browns,
fried chicken on hot
as
cakes.
well.
Great coffee by Micrology, coffee roasters. And you can also get a little bit of a, what's it called?
Discount?
No, you can get a discount, Jonathan. Tell them what the discount code is.
The discount code is Ekko and Sidetrack.
And you get 10% off. But you can get a Bloody Mary, or you can get a champagne mimosa.
Oh, that would be such a good long brunch spot.
Yeah, it was amazing. I highly recommend you check it out. Short Order Burger for brunch.
Big up. On the 26th of December, we are playing Breakfest at Belvoir Amphitheatre. It's on final release tickets.
Yes.
So go get yours today and come party with us.
In the bowl. I got a real problem with you.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
I am, feel better than yesterday. I had a bit of an energy crisis within my own body.
Oh, that doesn't sound like it's good.
No, but I resolved it. Part of it was that I ate some heavy food, and I also just felt like I had a million things to do. But knocking some of them on the head helped me. Also, meditation helped me, Jonathan, which brings me to my next question. How did you go this week meditating?
Just did it twice.
I think I got 4. And I definitely skipped when I was incredibly hungover. Actually, I wasn't even that hungover. I just skipped it because I was doing something else on Sunday, and I skipped it on Monday, and maybe I got Tuesday night or something. But I've tried to get in the other times. How have you been sleeping?
Not great. Still doing that same thing of doing extra work at nighttime, screen time, and then the wind down doesn't start until 10. And it falls away. I had a terrible sleep on Monday night, 4 hours sleep, really bad. And I went to work the next day, and everyone else had a bad sleep. So,
Monday night I had a shit sleep. I had a crazy dream that involved a guy from work performing some sort of satanic ritual and burning things down. Shout out to Michael.
What do you think? That has to be something. Obviously, I haven't been sleeping well. We kind of know why. But when there's so many different people who have a bad night's sleep on the same night, that's something.
Well, yeah, me, you, some of the people you work with reporting they had a bad sleep. That's maybe it's phases of the moon or something like that.
I think it is because it was the day after a full moon.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a full moon on Sunday night.
Was it?
Yeah. I don't know what that has to do with it though.
I don't know if it is.
It was, yeah.
I think the whole moon sequence, if I can just pontificate as a non-scientist, if the moon affects the tides, it stands to reason that it would affect the water in us as well.
And we're 70% water, Jeff.
I'm sometimes more than 70% water. Let's both drink. I can't reach my bottle. I'll just go thirsty.
Do you want some of mine?
Not at all.
Meninja cockle. Remember them when that was a thing?
Yeah,
It still is.
It still definitely is. But yeah, that was the thing everyone was fearful of for a minute.
Don't share water bottles at school.
Yeah. And now it's
Specifically, always at swimming lessons, I felt. Because it was warmer in the water. Maybe that was like a hub for bacterium.
yeah.
I don't know.
What kind of moon sequence going on around that time?
The moon was probably in retrograde or something and causing that to happen.
But that's that Mercury in retrograde thing. I always, every time it comes up, I Google what that actually means. But
What does it mean?
I'm not sure. But it does. It definitely people relate it to
Every time it comes up, you Google it,
and then I forget it. It often means that like things are difficult, and bad things happen, and you shouldn't sign any contracts during that time. You shouldn't make any big decisions.
Really?
Yeah, and earlier this year, maybe like 2 months ago, there was like Mercury was in retrograde for like 2 months or something, and there were definitely like a series of unfortunate events.
That happened
None
to you?
of them starring Jim Carrey.
That happened to you?
Yeah, me and my partner. Shout out to Holly.
Hey, Holly.
Yeah, it was a time.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I kind of thought that was just like a
Go on.
astrological meme to some extent. You know, if there's like a meme page that says like giving shit to people that say Mercury in retrograde. Mercury in retrograde was a statement that I heard from meme pages. And I knew it obviously meant something, but I didn't know it meant a negative vibe around that time or bad things would happen during that time.
Yeah. And there's probably someone bashing their dashboard as they go, it's about this and this is the real reason. But yeah, the loosest sense is, yeah.
Well, the moon affects women's periods, I'm pretty sure. So it probably does affect us in a variety of ways that are kind of unmeasurable.
Absolutely. If you,
Or like that we're not aware of.
think of something so far away and them trying to quantify that affects you.
Yeah.
Yet it affects the tides, and we're right there next to the tides, and like the whole ocean moves differently.
Yeah.
And we're like, I'm impervious to the moon's rotations and sequences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stared up at the moon. Well, I've been staring at the sky more lately
That's good for your eyes.
because we spend so much time looking down. And the world is actually so beautiful. I've tried to like open my field of vision so
Yeah, that helps.
you can see. So it really feels like we're living in a dome world. And if you do that and kind of just look up at whether at nighttime you see the stars or the daytime and you see just clouds and how the sun's interacting with them, especially around sunset, it's so beautiful.
Absolutely.
So often we're looking down and we're seeing mostly
Or at our fucking
pavement
screens
or at a screen and we're looking down. But I've just started
Gazing towards the heavens.
looking up and just kind of, being very aware of the sky.
I think increasing your peripheral view makes you
More present.
and calmer.
Yeah.
That's something that I think Andrew Huberman said about to relax, get a wider field of view, which is why looking at the horizon is relaxing.
That's a good tip.
I'm also, you just mentioning the stars, I'm really excited to look at the stars next week as I go to my secret destination.
Jeff's going on a secret destination holiday with Holly.
Shout out
Day.
to Holly.
Hey, Holly. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be great. I think where you're going, which is a secret place, is pretty prime for
And particularly
stargazing.
that area of the chamber, because it's right in the middle of the island.
Yeah. Yeah. The island of Australia. Are you looking forward to that? Obviously you are.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely. And like, this is the trip I've done probably the most, like planning and thinking about stuff.
Yeah.
And like, we're like booking in a few little things. Like, we're going to book in a massage. We're going to book in,
Wow.
we're going to go to a few other locations. Why am I being secretive about where I'm going? I'm going to Tasmania.
But it's funnier if you're secret about it, right?
Beep that out.
No one can ever know.
It's a secret until I post it on my Instagram. But one thing I'm actually going to do is, take a bit of a digital holiday.
That's great.
For like 2 or 3 days. So, which will feel nice. And, I think it'll be a nice thing. But I'm really just excited to spend the 5 days with my girlfriend in a beautiful location and see some like really cool stuff and just be in that area.
I think we've spoken about it before that often our holidays consist of doing things to do with music. It's how we've sometimes, unfortunately, kind of like structured how we do Ekko and Sidetrack, but it's very encompassed and smashed into our personal lives. So while we are on holiday, we're also feels like we're working quite a bit of the time as well.
But also, more to that, we're at a location to do a job, and then we get loads of time around it. But there is some like, we've got to do that thing,
and we're always together.
Yeah,
and it's kind of rare that we do holidays apart, and it's kind of rare that we do holidays that aren't, have something to do with work. So the question,
just the maximum relaxing.
Yeah, and this is like purely relaxing holiday. It's the kind of holiday you can read a book, start drinking wine at 12 p.m.
Oh man, I'm starting a new book.
Yeah, that gets me hard. Are you taking your laptop? That's the real measure of a holiday.
I might not.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I'm not just going to take a tote bag. Like, I know that your dream is to travel one day just to go to the airport with a tote bag.
Internationally.
International, just a tote bag.
Yeah.
I reckon you can do it.
You just have to buy everything when you get there.
That's the thing. Like, look at me, I'm a baller. And do you know what, another thing that Holly pointed out to me when I told her that we were in Adelaide?
Yeah.
She was like, you get to feel like a baller and you get to be like, I'm just with a tote bag. But everyone else just looks at you like, wow, that's all he's taking hand luggage. I bet he's checked in a whole cavalcade of things. You almost have to wear a shirt saying, this is all I've got. And I'm about to drop 4K when I get to London on a whole new wardrobe.
I'm a minimalist. Yeah, no, it's not for other people. It's just to challenge myself because, as we've talked about before, I'm very big in preparing a variety of layers to my journey. So I might bring 2 books or 3 books, depending what mood I might be in on the plane. And then end up not reading any of them.
Yeah. Look, they've got Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. See you later, 16 hours. I'm excited for you to go on it, man. I think, and it means that I'll have to have another guest on the podcast next week.
Where will you wrangle that person? Maybe you could just do a solo podcast.
I think that would be very boring.
No, I reckon it'd be interesting. I reckon you'd get into it as well.
I think it would end up being me just talking about how I'm not sleeping well and like just pontificating by myself, asking myself questions.
I could record a bunch of prompts.
Like a soundboard. We'll get a Jeff soundboard and you can just answer.
Hey buddy, what have you been up to this week?
Well, that sounds
great answer. These are great topics. Keep chatting.
Tell me more about that topic. Yeah, I don't know. I'll find a guest. I'm sure we can fill someone pretty big. Boots to fill, but we can find someone.
You'll do it. Jonathan, yesterday we did a thing.
We did do a thing.
What was that thing?
We put out new music.
Yeah, which is exciting.
A new song called I Feel Your Love. It's out now on Viper Recordings. Go stream it. Go download it legally. Go buy it on Beatport, play it in your sets, add it to your playlists, and ingest it however you ingest it.
Enjoy it and tell us what you think of it as well, because it's a special song to us in some ways. It's like a kind of like a lovely song. We're quite proud of it.
Yeah.
As we are with all of our music, but some songs definitely become a bit more like, I like this one a bit more than the other ones.
And I think this might feel a bit more like that and a bit more personal to us, because if you've been a long time listener of A Band Apart with Ekko and Sidetrack, Jeff and I have spoken at length about being proud of our work and celebrating success and becoming more comfortable and confident expressing that. And I think with this song, with this song, we're kind of standing behind it prouder than maybe any other song in the past. Like we knew Synchronized was a good song, and we knew Let the Light In was a good song. It connected and that kind of thing. But I feel like we knew it was a good song a little bit after the fact, on reflection, and often because other people told us it's a really good song. I remember Fred V told me last year. He was like, "Man, Synchronize is such a good fucking song. Like I still play it myself. It's like I love it. That's my favorite song you guys have done."
That's awesome.
And it made me listen back to it and go, like, "Yeah, it is a good song." But I needed someone else to kind of tell me that, for me to reflect on it again and be like, "Yeah, okay."
Sometimes that's how things are.
But it shows that we're evolving and becoming more comfortable saying that we like. That sounds crazy. Saying that we like our own music. Of course, we like our own music, but standing behind it and being like proud of it.
Because I think that's something that's like, it's not.
Doesn't come natural to us.
Doesn't come naturally to us. We're quite downplay it. Yeah, we put out a new song. It's cool.
Because we don't want to feel like we're tooting our own horn. Mm-hmm. And that's the tall poppy syndromeness of Australians.
Yeah, and if you don't know what tall poppy syndrome is, essentially tall poppy syndrome is that you don't want to stand out. You don't want to be the poppy that rises above because you'll be chopped down. And not because you'll be chopped down. No, yes, because you'll be chopped down, but you'll be chopped down by the other poppies.
Yeah.
How they chop you down, I don't know, because they don't have hands or a scythe or anything to use, but they cut you down so that you stay even with the rest of them.
Well, that's the thing. They use their own heads to cut you down, so they're actually destroying themselves as they cut you down.
Ooh, a nice stretch of the metaphor. I like that.
No worries.
But yeah, it's like something that's like very Australian, and it's definitely been something that we've dealt with over the course of our career. But it feels good to put out this piece of music that it was definitely a little bit of a what's the word? Laborious birth, would you say?
I think so. I think it was a long labour.
Yeah.
And possibly nearly an emergency C-section. But it still came through the vaginal canal, and I think he or she is equipped. I don't know what gender the song is.
I reckon it's a male.
Yeah, this one feels like a boy.
Yeah.
This one does feel like a boy.
And what a boy.
But yeah, it was... I think I felt... I can't remember if we've spoken about this before, but I think I felt a bit of pressure when it came to writing a more melodic tune because of the 17 bootleg and because of Rushing Back. Like, obviously they were two really quite successful bootlegs, and all the other originals we've released in the last year have been kind of dance floor based. Because we had tried to obviously write a lot of material, and we tried to recreate some of the vibe on both those songs and kind of missed the mark a couple of times.
Mm.
But this, I'm glad we got it. And I'm not saying it's, amazing songwriting or like as good as the 17 songwriting, for instance, but it's concise, simple. It does the job. It makes you feel it's.
I think it more than does the job. I know what you're saying, but like
again, I'm just trying to downplay it because I'm slightly uncomfortable tooting my own horn.
I've wanted to make several jokes and probably change the subject a few times over the last few minutes, but
that's good.
I will say I completely agree, and it kind of is a song that we worked hard on the songwriting. We wanted to make it better. We wanted to make it better. We wanted to make it simpler. We changed arrangements. We changed vocals. We reworked the song.
Yeah.
We not only produced the sounds and wrote the song, but then we produced the song.
Yeah.
And I think that represents like a bit of a step forward for us.
We did much more arrangement work than we have done in the past, and often songwriting is so much about the arrangement. And I think that's almost...
And I mean, sorry to interrupt, but drum and bass is is pretty simple an arrangement.
Yeah.
Like A, B, A, B, A, B. Just like, and repeat information. But within this, it's like, to make things work better, you need to put things in certain spots and also like notes in certain places and like to make it feel like it works. And we really tried to hone that. It might sound very simple and obvious when you listen to the song now.
But I think that's the sign of a good song.
Yeah.
And knowing when to take things away, when to take instruments away and put them back.
And I think we're getting better at that. And that represents a maturing of us in our craft because... And also, I think it's something that we've gotten better at as we've come back together.
Yeah.
Like, we definitely were on a shaky legs kind of when you got back, trying to work out how we work together. And then probably like 2 or 3 months ago, we really made some decisions. And we're like, it felt like we made a real shift. And I think it feels really good and it feels exciting about what we're working on now and the things we can't wait to share with everyone.
Yeah.
And like I'm excited, and they seem to be coming a little bit easier and a bit more flowy.
Yeah.
Than
they
sometimes
before.
Previously. And I mean, this song was a bit of a grind, but it was a grind because we were working to a deadline, and we were changing it so much.
Yeah.
But it got easier when we got okay with the change. We were like, ugh, we were resisting the change.
Yeah, I think that's a massive point. Like, you resist. Sometimes you don't want to change because you think the change is going to be harder than, like, something that's shit, that's stable, is
preferable.
Is preferable to something that is super unstable, but might have the potential to be great.
Yeah,
it's the same with songwriting. It's the same with relationships. It's the same with any decision in life. Change is fucking hard. Change is scary. People don't want to change. It's better to be... I know what I am, even if what I am isn't good. I know that. The unknown is scary and you don't want to go there.
Have you read Who Moved My Cheese?
I have read Who Moved My Cheese. It's a great book.
Yeah, Who Moved My Cheese is such a great little parable about some mice and some little people and the way they deal with change. And it's an incredible thing to read. I don't know, almost once a year, because you probably change something, or you're going to change something once a year.
Yeah.
But I think it's such an important little book with a great message that you think you get. You're like, yeah, I get it. But then you kind of switch off, and then you're like, oh wait, nah. Like, it keeps becoming more clear.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah. It's a bit like the War of Art, like that. You're like, after like 40 pages, like, yeah, I get it. I know what resistance is. But then you go along and you're like, I didn't.
Man, talk about a book that I've recognized that I need to read again. I read it in 2020. No, I think I read Turning Pro in 2020, and now I need to be like, okay, I need to read The War of Art again. I need my Stephen Pressfield fix. Yeah. And I need to listen to the Flow guy, Stephen Kotler.
Yeah.
I need to go listen to the Kotler podcast he does with Duncan.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the one he does with Joe too.
He did a good one with Tim Ferriss as well.
Yeah.
But back to the tune.
Yeah.
What do you think sparks the first initial creativity to write a song like this? Like, how do you approach it? Like, because this song, this song came from the bones of a bunch of other songs and was kind of a shit version of a few things for a while. Then it kind of came together. But when did you find the little golden thread and like pull on it and feel like it was strong and were able to follow it?
Like, personally?
Yeah.
When did I feel like the thread was good?
Yeah. When did you?
That Wednesday in the studio when I think I was just in there by myself for a Wednesday night, and we were in Carl's studio.
Yeah.
That's the other thing with this song. We
thought we were finishing it off, so we just went downstairs and because he's got a more acoustically treated
room and better speakers than ours. It just, you can hear more details. So we took the computer down there to finish it off.
We thought we were finishing it off. We ended up spending 2 weeks down there.
Yeah, 2
working
weeks.
when he wasn't in there.
Which was mostly nights, which was really good. And one of the nights, I think things just weren't working. And when that's the case, I find when I want to change a lot of stuff, that's when I feel like a tune isn't working. Not when, we'll work on the drums for, like, we'll work on this bit and then we'll do this bit and then we'll do this bit. When I start to feel like the bass isn't right, the drums aren't hitting, this isn't hitting, I start to get agitated.
That means nothing's right. If you're having these feelings about nothing being right.
And that was happening.
And I was definitely trying to sell the idea like, no.
Because again,
I was just resisting that change.
Because we were going down there to finish it.
Yeah.
We're going down here to finish it, and now
we got a deadline,
got a deadline, and now you, as in me, this is what you might say to me, you're suggesting you want to fucking change and make all this new work for us?
Yeah.
And then, to your credit, and thank you very much for doing it, you said, do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not here tonight. Do whatever you want. And just kind of like sell me on the idea.
Yeah. Which is
what are you hearing?
Yeah.
And I think it came together when I changed the drums. And when I I didn't even change that much. I just added a bunch of white noise.
You just added more energy.
More energy.
Because I remember talking to Carl, and Carl was like, you just need more. You're trying to do something with little. And I think for a while we've been trying to build a song and being like, add one more layer. Is it done? Add one more layer. Is it done? Rather than being like, add 50 layers and then carve it out of those 50 layers.
You want to carve it out. Like, you can't. I think it's really a great idea as a producer to try to use less stuff.
Yeah, everyone wants the elegant solution.
And everyone wants the elegant solution. And especially as we want our production to get better, you start to listen to drum and bass producers like Metric, Subfocus, people who
Come on Crooked,
who you're listening to their tunes and you do think like, that's just a kick, a snare, and a hi-hat. But there's so much energy in that tune. Why don't my drums kind of sound like that? And therefore you're hesitant to layer 7 different hi-hats. But sometimes that energy comes from initially layering 7 different hi-hats, filling space, bouncing that out as a one track, and then that's your thing. So I think having that time and to work quite loud, I like to work louder than you and Carl because I find it like that's how you get energy. Like, fucking turn it up. It's loud music. We're not finessing, we're getting energy. So I was allowed to do that, changing up the drums, and then moving the lead was originally just like a piano line in the breakdown that then was kind of went over the drop on the second drop.
But it became our favorite part of the song. We're like, whoa, the breakdown's so cool. It's like the best bit of the song.
But like with everything, when your favorite part of the song is it happens at 2 minutes and 10 seconds, that thing should just happen at 22 seconds.
Yeah, it's like maybe you should move the best bit and there'll be another best bit later.
Yeah, so I just moved that. And then suddenly with the energy of the drums and that lead was like, that's the song.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the song. And I think when you came in the next day, I said the preamble before I played it was like, this is the song. This is the most boiled down version of the song. And I, as I like to do, I think I added a bunch of different sounds, like a couple of those beeps and a couple of those runners and maybe an up, which we ended up distilling, turning off a couple of those things and like bringing it back to a bit more of a stripped back version. But like you said, I think you have to layer it on and then carve it out rather than building slowly. I think that's just the way we work.
Exactly. You can build slowly, and you can do it like piece by piece, but that's very, very difficult, and you have to be wired like that to do it. Yeah. I don't think we're wired like that.
No.
We're much more make a mess, clean it up.
Yeah.
Rather than this is the first draft and just ink over that and we're done.
Yeah, definitely. When was it for you that you felt like,
Yeah, that moment, and then over the next like 2 days, being like, let's move the vocal here. Like, and when you found the new vocal as well,
yeah, the changing of the vocal?
changing the vocal was like, whoa, this is way better.
Man,
Because we were trying to make that other one work, and then we are trying to.
vocals really, and this is, again, this is just, I want to write some of this stuff down. Probably why it's so good to have a podcast where we talk about it, because you just reminds you to like just remind these things. Maybe I'll write a note on the wall, but a vocal will work straight away. You can take a shitty demo someone records on an iPhone, and if it's a good vocal, you can just drop it in and it'll be a vibe instantly.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, there's a vibe. It's not going to be the finished product, but you're like,
but it's a vibe.
This makes me feel something.
If you say, we've really got to like make this work, and you start to make a vocal work by putting effects on it, the vocal's not good enough. You can make it work by pitching it around if you want to do like a chopped up vocal thing, but so often it's just about performance and what they're saying. And if you can drag and drop it and it works, then finesse it. Because that vocal, the first vocal we had in there was cool, but it wasn't hooky enough. It didn't really say much.
Yeah.
And then finding this next one was instantly, it was like, oh, that's the vibe.
Yeah. And then like it was like, oh yeah. And then we like tweak it a bit more, but that was a better starting point. Like so often with production stuff, rather than trying to roll a turd in glitter, you better off finding a glitter covered turd.
It's hard to do a glitter poo though.
It is.
You have to eat a lot of glitter.
Fucking glitter everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, the vocal helped.
And just those things started to come together, and we started to trust our gut a bit more. Like the invisible thread that we'd found was there when we came back, and we could pull it, and it was a bit more strong rather than being like lost on the ground.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know where it is. Maybe if we just keep working, we'll find it again. And that does happen, but we definitely found our moment, and we were able to keep going towards it and follow our instincts and trust our instincts.
Yeah, I think it's so much about trusting your instincts
and when
not questioning.
Yeah, and when they're good, they're good, because you can have bad instincts as well, and you go, I'm just trusting my instincts, like and then you're making mistakes. And
I read I listened to a really good podcast this week that I sent to you and Holly.
Yep.
And I took some notes from it, and one of the notes was,
Hey Holly,
confidence is reflecting on the past and knowing what you learnt, I think.
I heard something else great about confidence recently. Debbie Millman said it.
Hey, Debbie.
She said, confidence is created by repetition and by doing. What's more important than confidence is courage.
Yeah.
Because courage is what's required to take that first step, to do those first things. So if you have courage, you step forward to be able to do the thing, and that builds confidence.
Yeah. It's a good courage and confidence kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. But you can't get confident without having practiced the thing.
And to practice the thing, you need to have the courage.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be accepting to make mistakes in that first earlier bit, and not be so so careful with it. Recently, I made a box. I can't remember if I talked about it on the last podcast.
You didn't talk about it at all, Jonathan.
So I've made a box. I made a box out of wood because I quite like working with wood. I've made a few things over the years, and I want to do more of it. So I've made a
wood. You're a good wood. You're a good wood craftsman.
Thanks. So I made a box. It's a knife box for a Japanese chef's knife I have, and it was all made by hand, and it's uneven. One edge is slightly too small, like it's on a slight angle. we obviously glued it and viced it and screwed it together as best we could. And then I had to cut the whole thing in half with a saw. And the cut's kind of uneven, and they had to plane it. It's fucking hard, and it's not perfect. It closes, but I couldn't sell it. But it's the first box I've made, and that's okay, because the 30th box I make is going to be better, because I haven't planed something in fucking 2 years.
Yeah. Practice.
And I'm going to practice at it, and I'm going to be better at it. So in 30 years, when my son comes to me and says,
the metaverse is boring, I want to make a box.
yeah, I can go, sweet. I've only made one 30 years ago and never did again, but I want to give it another go.
I sold all the tools during the fucking crisis of 2050.
But yeah, like it's funny having like a physical representation of something. And so every time I look at it, I still haven't finished it. I need to make the velvet inlay. I don't know how to make velvet though. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go to Spotlight. When I look at it and I see the divots that I couldn't plane out, or I see the unevenness, it does make me go like, all right, the next one I'm going to really, that's the point where I'm going to really be careful. I'm not going to try to rush it, or I'm not going to make that same mistake. And I think the same thing happens with music. And of course, the more regularly you do it, and the more regularly you finish music and you present something and you're like, okay, this is done. Where are the divots in this song? What am I going to learn from it?
Yeah.
How am I going to apply that to the next one? So I can make a song quicker, or I can make it better. I don't make the same mistakes.
You're in a constant like upward trajectory of work, reflection, and improvement.
Yeah.
If I can just come back to something you said about the box, you said I can't sell it because it's not even and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would argue that's the thing that makes it special.
To me.
Well, no, I mean, in so many things, like perfection is, or like perceived perfection and clean lines and like mass produced is desirable sometimes, but often I find myself drawn to things that are one-offs, handmade, or like they do have a little bit of something to them because they're real.
Yes.
And so, I mean, they're different. You don't want a handmade car. And someone's like, put in the brakes myself. And I'm not sure that one's straight. You're like, I'd prefer some German engineering. Thank you very much. But yeah, those things make it real and give it life. And
I would agree. But for a box, so like, you, me and Dad made the studio desk, right?
yeah,
I'd make one of those for someone and sell someone that, because it's a nice piece of work. It's pretty functional and it's pretty clean.
there's a few things I'd change about it.
There's a couple of things I'd change about
I remember we were going, we were building it. And we were probably like putting on the legs, and Dad's like, we'll just do this. And I was like, that's not as neat and tidy as I want. And he just started getting real functional.
Because, he's just
very
super functional.
Practical man.
I'd do some things cleaner, but with the box, I would just prefer it if it was just a bit smoother.
So why didn't you buy a box?
Because buying stuff, in my opinion, I could go to IKEA and buy a box.
Yep.
Or I could go buy a knife box. Sure, I could go spend $150 on a nice wooden knife box.
Japanese knife box.
Or I could spend 8 hours in the garage with my dad, asking him questions, learning about it, trying things out, fucking it up. And that's worth more than $150 to me.
I absolutely agree.
And so my thinking is, any piece of furniture I could build. I would like to build all my furniture. I built my bed. I built the bench that's in my room. We built the synth stand. We built the desk. Like, I'd like to build a chair
I won't sit in that chair. Just kidding.
out of balsa wood. But like, you can go out and buy cool shit. And Lynn, look, I also recognize that.
But buying someone else's cool shit that they've built is also
I would love to buy someone else's cool shit. But a handmade chair by a professional, that's someone who has mastered their craft for 30 years, is $1,000.
probably more.
I was looking last year when we moved into our new house in New Cross in London. We were looking for furniture because me and my two housemates, shout out James and Shawnee, were like, we were going to buy some furniture. And we love like mid-century wood, right? We want like a fucking Scandinavian house.
I just like to fill my house with Danish furniture. Great. Do you have money?
So we were looking at stuff, and there's
Lots of Eames stuff as well.
there was the store's called Broccoli Bespoke. If you live in southeast London and you like wood furniture, look up Broccoli Bespoke on Instagram. Beautiful stuff. But it's like £600 for a chair.
Yeah.
It's expensive because it's handmade by professionals
and like designed
and designed, and like it's beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
We ended up just going to IKEA because you can get pretty good stuff and it's functional and it's Scandinavian.
Yeah.
But if you have the time and you don't need the chair, I'm pretty lucky. I don't need a chair. So I can afford to go, I can build a chair over the course of 6 months. Like it's very... And I also have access to Dad's carpentry knowledge, and there's a garage at home. Like I've got access to some of those things, so why wouldn't I?
Yeah, I think that's a great thing. I think the idea of making things is not dying, but it's like less and less appealing to people because they're like, I want it now, I want it pretty easily. I'd rather that looks hard.
But you see
so people pay so they don't have to.
Yeah.
It's like literally that's what the cost is. Like I want the pretty thing, but I don't want to have to build it myself.
But you see people's fascination, and this could just be men in their 30s. I'm not too sure because I've only had this conversation with men in their 30s.
Did they have beards?
Yes.
Were they drinking craft beer?
No. But it's a conversation that says, we're talking about YouTube history, what's on your watch list? And so many people I would talk to would be like, I watched a guy whittle a mug out of wood the other day in like an hour. And it was sick. Or like someone in the forest making a fire and then chopping up and cooking on the fire. So many of those videos are like so popular, even on TikTok, like people making stuff, people making art, people making bespoke furniture, people making whatever it is.
Scrambled eggs.
Jewelry, scrambled eggs, food. All this stuff is like inspiring people to make more. And I think
it may be inspiring people. It's also inspiring people just to like things, being like, I like watching making videos.
Yes.
Have you ever tried making?
Yeah, so that's the other thing. But I believe it's inspiring more people to do the thing rather than just creating people that like to watch people doing the thing. Yeah. And the voyeuristic nature of TikTok and Instagram. Isn't it weird that like being called a voyeur used to be like, oh, you're a deviant. He's looking through the window while
up a tree beating off.
Yeah. But literally now everything we do in our society is 100% voyeurism.
Oh, what are you doing?
I'm going to watch a story. I'm going to watch TikTok. Oh, what are you going to do? I'm just going to keep scrolling to see what you're doing.
Just tell me what you're doing.
It's not as sexual, I don't think. It probably is. So like,
probably satisfies a similar part of the
But it would satisfy a similar part of the brain. Dopamine. It's interesting. I definitely feel way better. Like if I compare spending an hour on Instagram and an hour sanding a box.
Oh.
And that's not a euphemism. I feel so much better after the sanding. But I don't sound a box every day. I look at Instagram for an hour every day.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
As long as you don't do it before bed, buddy, you'll sleep better.
Yeah.
It's also very present making when you're doing something.
Absolutely.
Because you're in it. It's hard to be distracted. Even just doing something slightly harder than what you're used to is good for making you present. Like you can go on autopilot and just do. But when you're like trying to actively solve a problem, or even just like doing something that's like keeping you on the ball, so to speak, that's like juggling. You can't zone out and juggle until you get good at it, but that's why it can make you so present, and being present feels good and brings you into the moment. And yeah, it's like woodwork or even playing music and even writing music. When you just get in that flow, you're like, there's nowhere else in the world I want to be. It's just like, I'm just looking for that next note, and then it hits and you're like,
I think
yes.
with music, there's still the pull of making it more complicated, and the fact that it's on a screen. If you're just playing an instrument
or in a band,
there's nowhere else to go. Like, I've only got my drum kit, or I've only got my guitar.
Yeah.
Or if you're sanding something or making wood, like, this is it. The best times, one of the happiest days I had in London was when I went out into Epping Forest by myself. I had been in woods before, and I really like wooded areas. Remember we were in Norway in 2008, and we were like, let's go find a wooded area.
Like tree bathing feels good.
Yeah.
Feels great.
And
being in nature.
I went out there by myself and took a book. At the time I was reading Hell's Kitchen. Marco Pierre White's book. Hell's Kitchen? Not Kitchen Confidential, that's Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was reading that, and I walked into Epping Forest, and it was beautiful. The sun was shining. It's the same day that I saw the orb, and I sat in 2 different spots and read for about 45 minutes each, and then I just walked around. Didn't have my phone on. I took some photos, but I just turned it off, and I just walked, and I listened, and I had all these thoughts about, this feels like I'm in Robin Hood, and, that tree's so cool. I wonder how old that tree is. And then I saw a couple of people dogging, and I was like, oh, that's not cool. And then, and I ended the day with red wine and a roast by myself.
By yourself?
Yeah, in this bar in, the place is, the stop, if you're in London, get on the Central Line and head past Stratford. It's called Theodon Boys. It's pretty connected. So you get there on the tube, but it goes like overground and fun. And you just walk down the road. You actually walk past a Brick Lane bagel shop out there, which is crazy.
Oh, wow.
Because it's nowhere near Brick Lane. But yeah, just being in there and being like alone was beautiful. Carl's interrupting the podcast.
Speaking
again.
of being
Carl,
alone.
do you want to come in and fuck this one up again?
I think he did quite well.
No, he did do quite well.
Yeah, I got a speeding fine. John was just talking about being present.
And my favourite day in London was when I went to Epping Forest. It's beautiful. And like being present and being like, how we were talking about doing creative things or just doing something that makes you present. I was talking about making a box and sanding wood, or for you it would be surfing.
Most definitely.
And like being in the moment and not having to think about music or other distractions. Like you literally have no other distractions there.
You can't do anything.
You can't do anything.
Surfing's a good circuit breaker because you can't think about anything.
Yeah.
Because it's demanding.
Yeah.
I struggle with like a walk.
Yeah.
Because I walk and continue to think about the same shit.
Yeah.
Whereas like something like that's really like demandingly mentally and physically.
The physical activity, the physical aspect of it is definitely
then
helpful.
You're like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that thing for ages, and all that stress and like I've disappeared. What was I worried about again?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Probably should just get me on your podcast.
Do you want to do it next week?
Sure.
Jeff's
Sounds
in
good.
Tassie.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, all right.
We're going to ask some hard questions. If you've got any questions for Shock One, message them to us.
I can feel some hard questions right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. That's probably a good time to end it there, Jono.
Yeah, okay. Well,
You've got a weird erection.
you enjoy your holiday in Tassie,
Thanks, man.
and I'll see you when you get back.
You enjoy whatever you're going to get up to. But
Music,
thank
wood
you
carving.
for thanks for chatting. And again, Jono, congratulations on putting out a great piece of music.
Congratulations on putting out a great piece of music.
We don't have to eat KFC and drink champagne to celebrate this time, but
No.
yeah.
And if you, again, want to go listen, buy, stream, dance to I Feel Your Love by Ekko and Sidetrack, go do it and tell us what feelings you have. And we love you.
And I love you, buddy.
And I love you.
See you, man.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. We are Ekko and Sidetrack on all social media. We've recently updated our YouTube. Go and give that a subscribe so you can keep up to date with all the latest video podcasts. And follow us on Spotify too so you can keep up to date with all our latest music releases. Big up.